Okay, so in this they want us to write an equation for the function graph. So they give us this function and we have to come up with the equation. Now this is going to go back to what we did in 1.5 with transformations. So, and also with our toolkit functions. So first let's write what the, I'll do it in green, what type of function is it? Well, it's an absolute value, right? So what is the absolute value function? What does that look like? Well, it looks like this. You could graph that, okay? That's what the absolute value function looks like. So if you compare that, what I've drawn in green, the basic toolkit function, absolute value function, and then we look at what they've given us, you can see there's some changes that have been made, right? Okay, so it looks like the vertex for that absolute value, that lowest point, has shifted to the right 3 and down 2. So it looks like a horizontal shift. Left, or sorry, to the right, right 2. And a vertical shift of down 2. Okay. Oh, it was 3. It was right 3. Sorry, right 3, down 2. Okay. All right, that just tells you then the horizontal shift and the vertical shift. But you can see the shape isn't the same. It looks like there's a stretch here, a vertical stretch. Now you might say, well, you know, I think it looks like a horizontal compression or something. I would always go with the vertical stretch or compression if you can. So it just makes it a little bit easier to write the functions. So we could talk about that more, but I'm just going to call it a vertical stretch. Now, how am I going to determine what that vertical stretch is? Well, picture you picking these points up and lining them up with the original absolute value function, the toolkit function. You'd have a point here. It looks like there's a point here that's like 1 to the left and 2 up. So 1 to the left and 2 up. And then there's another point the other direction, right? So it's going like this, okay? And so you could kind of see what's happening. I used to have a point at 1, 1, I'm sorry, negative 1, 1, but now in the orange one, that point became negative 1, 2. So you're doubling those outputs, right? Okay, so that's what we want to think about, that it's a stretch of 2. Okay, now we just have to write it. So how do we write that? Well, they call it y here. They don't have a name and function notation for it, so I'll just call it y. And I'll say that y equals, and it's going to be based on the absolute value of x. It's going to be a stretch of 2 times the absolute value of x. Now, inside the absolute value, though, that's my function, I have to do the right or left business. So because it's going to the right, is it going to be plus or minus? So if you said minus, good for you. So minus 3. And then I can consider the vertical shift down, which is going to be outside the absolute value. Because it's a vertical shift down, it's going to be minus 2. And then that's going to be the function.